Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me and Ashy Knuckles on Archive. Man, a bunch of chances back Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the February 11th edition. What's going on, Ashy? How you been, bro?
Everything's good on my end, man. I can't complain. It's all good.
Absolutely, man.
2020 is starting off real jacked up. I know that.
Well, that you could say that again.
Yeah.
All right, and let me tell you, man, it started off with a bang. By the way, those listening on Archive, throw a jab at the like button. Make sure that like button does turn blue, and make sure you follow me at D Style Boxing down there. And a puncher's chance, you can follow Ashy Knuckles on Twitter. And there's the website, mandatorydefense.com. How's it going with the website, Ash? You there, Ashy? I think it froze up there. Looks like Ashy Knuckles froze. If you could hear me, bro, we cannot hear you. You are frozen. Not sure what happened there, but while we wait, Ashy Knuckles makes a really good point about 2020 starting off with a bang. We have a pretty good show lined up for you. Let me see what's going on here. Give me a second, guys. We'll wait for Ashy's thing to kind of clear up there. Not sure what happened. Ashy is gone right now, but that's okay. What's going on to Stormy B, man? What's up, bro? Kenneth Johnson says salute. What's going on? And Asim the Dream is on here as well. I think we got Ashy back on. What's going on, bro?
I don't know what that was all about, but
I don't know either, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe you're beefing with YouTube or something. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi.
It's all good, bro. How's it going with the website, man?
The website's good, man. Just updating it daily, staying abreast in the world of boxing. It's not easy, but, you find time to get it done. It's all good.
Absolutely. You guys visit mandatorydefense.com. Let's start off with this. You just mentioned it. 2020. 2019 was a pretty solid year. You think 2020 will surpass it? You think it'll be even better than 2019, Ash?
Well, I mean, it has the ability to. It's a lot of big fights that are already being made that are scheduled to happen later on. Of course, you got the Fury and Wilder coming up. Everybody's excited about that. You got Teofimo versus Lomachenko around April or so. And fighters are steady calling each other out all the time. And, hopefully if these fights can be made for 2020, it's a good possibility that 2020 can upstage 2019 in terms of big fight ability, big fight potential.
That definitely. All right. I mean, I do think that if I could predict, I would say that I do. And maybe I'm being too optimistic. I don't know, but I think this year, the way it started, and not just what could potentially happen, what's already in the horizon. We got Fury versus Wilder just around the corner, just around the block.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally right there. You know what I mean? It's about to happen.
And then Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas right after that. So, yes, sir.
Yep. Absolutely. We got a lot, lined up. What's up to Reggie Owens and Seeing the Dream? A-Rod, what's going on, guys? Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. What you think about Rigo's performance, man? Rigondeaux, and he's still being called boring and all this by the boxing media. All right, but how did you see it?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very candid about it. He really isn't doing himself any favors.
Okay.
He is, 39 years old. He hasn't, been must-see TV in terms of people wanting to see him fight. Now, a couple of fights ago, he changed his style in order to be more appealing to the audience, and it worked. His fights were starting to be a whole lot more entertaining in terms of how the people, the detractors, how they describe what an entertaining fight is supposed to look like. He was trying to appeal to them, but it makes him more vulnerable in the ring because he's not using his natural abilities to evade big shots and escape and use his legs, utilize the ring, and pick his shots, which they deem boring. He was staying in the pocket, trying to bang out with these guys and time them with counter shots. Well, he initially started this fight in that particular style, but his opponent brought that heat in first round, and Ronnie Shields like, hell no, go to the Cuban School of Boxing. And that's what he did. And, it may have stunk out the joint, but he did what he had to do to get the victory against a guy who was game and wanted to win. So Rigo had to resort back to what Rigo does, making fighters put their hands in their pocket because they're scared to engage, because they're scared of the big counter. And it just looks like two fighters in there looking at each other all goddamn fight long, no action.
Well, to someone who doesn't understand, I get it. You know what I mean? Like they're just watching it and like, come on, do something, right?
Yeah.
Like I get that. Well, what I don't get, Ashy, is when Rigo's not the first guy to have a defensive style or to wait to counter. He just isn't. You know what I mean? But people act like he's out of the world boring, though. Like, you know what I mean? I think they just over exaggerate the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, you have people like he just finished having a very exciting fight against Ceja, who proved to be that win aged well, given how much problems he gave the younger Brandon Figueroa, right? The problems he gave him. I mean, that win looked pretty good for Rigondeaux after that. So he's walking out to the ring, bro, and they're already booing him. Like, I mean, god damn.
Yeah.
Like can he can we watch him throw a punch first or something? And not only that, boxing scribes talking about wake me up when the fight's over and just stuff like that. And to be honest, I just don't think the fight was that boring. No. Like don't get me wrong.
Purists, actually, it's one for the purist.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not gonna when somebody asks me, hey, D-Style, what's your 2020 fight of the year? Like, no, I'm not going to mention this fight, right?
Yeah.
Rigging, that's not what I'm saying, but he dropped the guy. He was hurting the guy.
Right.
And call me crazy, but I like it when a guy puts himself by design, but puts himself in some danger by either getting against the ropes, putting his hands down in front of his opponent, right? I get that there was a method to his madness. Like, he wanted to counter him. Right. And Solis knew that, but it wasn't that bad. They're just over exaggerating the thing. Like, I'll give you an example. The Becco fight, that fight was boring as shit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't fully blame Rigondeaux. I mean, Becco being hesitant throughout the entire fight had a lot to do with it, but this wasn't a Becco fight. Right. This wasn't a fight where he was only throwing 6 punches around. Like, he was a little more active. And like you said, if he did what people wanted him to do, he might have got to knock the fuck out.
Right.
So, because this dude showed him what's up. Like, I think the dude fucked up, Ash. I think he should have, waited a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like hustle Rigondeaux a little bit. Like, make him feel like, hey, I could do this. And then just ambush him. He came out a little too strong, showed Rigondeaux what he had a little too soon.
Yeah.
Rigondeaux, veteran, adjusted all that experience. You know what I mean? He made the adjustment, and that was that.
Yeah. Rigondeaux did what he had to do to win the fight. It goes back to what you said years ago in terms of the people that are, talking about how boring he is and he's not entertaining. When you got fighters in the ring in between 1 and 12, they're not thinking to themselves, hey, let's entertain. I think you coined that shit. You
Yeah.
coin that shit. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking about how do I beat my opponent? How do I keep him from hitting me with shots that I'm gonna have to pay for and suffer from? You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is, but it goes back to what the people's perception for guys that fight at 118 pounds is. Little guys, they should be in there throwing thousands of punches. That's what most people think when they think of bantamweights. And Rigondeaux defies that logic altogether. He debunks all that. He goes in there and he fights a patient fight and does what he has to do. He, as methodical as it is, as boring as it may be, it's effective and he's winning. And it is what it is, man.
Man, if he fights the way they want him to fight, he's going to get knocked out or lose, and then they're gonna be the first ones. You think they're gonna say? Let's be honest. You think boxing scraps are gonna come out and the fans that boo him? You think they're gonna be like, man, bro, like that dude's a warrior. I want to see more Rigondeaux. No, they're gonna say, man, that dude's. I told you that dude's overrated.
I'm so glad he lost. Now
I'm glad he lost. I never have to see him again. I told you he's overrated. Right. He's not that good. It doesn't matter if he tried his best. Rigondeaux tried to be defensive. The other guy didn't let him. That's what they would be saying.
Right.
Right? So fuck
that.
Read
this book before, yeah.
Fuck that dude. Plus he says he's going monster hunting. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, I want monster. I want Inoue. You know what I mean? What do you think of Rigondeaux moving down saying, I want that dude? You guys say he's that dude? I want him.
What do I think about it?
Yeah, what do you think about Rigondeaux literally just saying, I want that dude? Like, give him to me.
I mean, he's a fighter, you know. I say it all the time when you go to the boxing gym, even the sorriest motherfuckers in there think they got something. Rigondeaux's not even a sorry fighter, so you can imagine he wants to fight the best fighters in the world. Most fighters do. They want to test themselves against the best fighters that are out there and obviously try to make some money along with it. Rigondeaux has accomplished a lot at the super bantamweight division, even with a promoter who was not getting them fights and basically was shitting all over him. He still accomplished a lot. He's at bantamweight. He wants to go up against whoever is the top-notch fighter there, and we'll see what happens, man.
Shit, man, I'm telling you right now, bro. If these Cuban, like if 45 wouldn't have messed around with the ending of the embargo and all that, okay?
Yeah.
And these fighters were allowed to go fight in their home country and sell out arenas over there because they would be heroes in their country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they wouldn't be worried about all this nonsense. Okay, they can't draw. Dude, they literally just came to the country in their 20s and their 30s. Like, you wanted to have like this like build-up fan base. Like, from where? Like, where do you guys want to just build a fan base from? They literally just got here, right? Like they had to like run away from their home country, who does not let them box professional. I don't know if that's still the case now, but they're messing around with the ending of the embargo, so it is what it is. Okay, but with that said, man, Rigondeaux, give him his respect. I don't know who wins between him and Inoue, but I got to tell you something. I was talking about it yesterday with Stormy. These Cuban fighters are the first to raise their hands, bro. Okay. Anytime someone says, like, hey, anybody want to fight me? Me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Ooh, pick me. And they're always like, anybody? Me. Anybody want to fight me? Over here. I'll fight you.
Anyone else?
Anybody? No.
Yeah.
I'm getting ducked. You see?
Yeah.
Remember when Triple G said nobody wants to fight me? He said no one wants to fight me. Right? I'll fight anybody from 154 to 168. Yeah, everybody's ducking me. Yeah, Ward calling him out. Ward was like, I'll fight you. No, not you. You're too big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Lara was like, well, I'll fight you. Not you. You don't draw. Like all of a sudden.
Excuses.
Yeah. Right? And I hope they don't, they're going to have excuses for the Inoue fight. It might be difficult to make. Good thing Bob Arum's going to put another golden goose in the ring with Rigondeaux.
Oh, he might. Rigondeaux is 39.
He's 39.
I'll give him his credit.
Hopkins was in his mid-40s beating Pascal, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Rigondeaux not nearly as defensive as Hopkins. Not nearly. Hopkins can stand in the middle of the ring with you and not get hit.
Right.
You know, he inside and out. Rigondeaux's not the best inside fighter, you know?
Yeah, when he fights on the inside, the fights are exciting because he's getting hit.
Right.
You know, like say how fight. Yeah, so good point. With that said, I want to talk about boxing styles. And by the way, you're right. I do remember making those videos. Like, dude, they don't go to the gym and train on making a fight exciting. What the fuck is that?
Let's
right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man. So today we're gonna work on making the fight exciting.
Right. Right.
So it's gonna be jab, jab, and then leave yourself open so I can jab you back. Okay, you ready? Jab, jab. Why are you covering up? What are you doing? You got to get hit so the fans can get excited.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Shit is insane. You know, Lara wanted to fight Triple G. Says no, Paul. Absolutely, yes, he did. AJ10, the fact checker in the house. An American fighter can't go to a foreign country and immediately sell out stadiums, right? Yes. If an American fighter just escaped this country, which we might have to do if shit keeps going the way it's going, who fucking knows, right? But and just shows up in Germany, like the Germans aren't all of a sudden going to be like, oh yeah, this guy's a star. Like they don't care, bro, right? So, no, Paul, shout out to you. Box Conversations, Reggie Owens saying what's going on. And, man, a lot of great conversation. KU, what's up, man? And G Funky 84. I saw Chicano Prophet, Clifton Bronson. What's going on, guys? Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. We have Ashy Knuckles back on here. This is the February 11th edition of A Puncher's Chance. Make sure you visit MandatoryDefense.com and all that good stuff. Follow me at D-Style Boxing on Twitter and follow Ashy at A Puncher's Chance on Twitter. Talk to me about this. I just wanted to make a quick thing about boxing styles, right? Do people not realize like how boring, or maybe they don't, I don't know. Imagine if every boxer actually had the same exact style.
Right.
Like just like boxing would be boring to me. You know what I mean? So I want defensive-minded fighters in the sport. It makes shit interesting. You know? Plus, who are we kidding? When a defensive-minded fighter gets knocked down, the dudes that get more excited than everybody are the ones that hate him. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that, oh my God. That's why, look, we see knockouts all the time in boxing. But when a dude that is defensive-minded gets knocked out, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to say that, man, we need different styles in boxing that just to make things interesting. What did you think about, Cal Brook just got his win. He won by he knocked the dude out with a jab, right? And DeLuca, I believe that dude's name was.
Oh,
it was at 1 Cal Brook. Yeah, who did I say? Did I say another name?
I just didn't catch it. You could have said
Okay. Yeah, yes. Cal Brook. I hope I didn't say another name, but so Cal Brook won with a jab, and then there's a lot of talk, Ashy, about what he should do next.
Yeah. I
saw the weigh-in, right? Like I wanted to reach through the screen and give this bottle of water to myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's how sucked he looked. Is it reasonable for him to go back to 147, or would it be smarter for him to stay at 154 pounds and campaign there? Well, what do you think?
Well, this is fight number 3 at junior middleweight since his defeat to Errol Spence. If I was him, I'd just stay there, because the longer you stay out of the welterweight division, the harder it is going to be to make weight at that weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you said, at the weigh-in, he looked like he was pretty much depleted. But on fight night, he fought like he had a lot of energy. So it could just be looks. Looks are deceiving. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times Miguel Cotto looked like he was about to fucking fall over. But when he was fighting, but when he fought in the ring on fight night, he showed up. But yeah, if he can make 147 pounds, that would. I just think his time there is over. But if he wants to stay at 154 pounds, He'll be up against it too because even though he's stocky and he's pretty strong at that weight, he's about 5'9" with a 69-inch reach. Shit, Jamel's damn near 6 foot tall. Jason Rosario, that just won the world title, he's about the same height. Julian Williams about the same height. Damn near everybody. Nathaniel Gallimore is about the same height. The only one that really matches up with Kell Brook at that weight, who is somebody, within the division, it would be Erickson Lubin. But even still, he has a longer reach, like 75 inches or something like that. So I'm not saying that's the end all be all in terms of figuring out who would be the favorite in facing Kell Brook. I'm just saying, dimensions wise, he's already up against it, against natural 54 pounders. But it makes the division a whole lot more interesting if he decides to campaign there. So I think he should stay right there at 54. I guess the win over this guy, DeLuca, kind of sets him up for possibly a title run, get a title shot at one of the champions there, either Jamel or Rosario or whoever has, the third belt or whatever. And it just makes for entertaining fights. And 54 is a division that needs to have their champions and their top guys continue facing each other because they have not declared an undisputed champion. Because it seemed like once a guy gets a title, his ass is boom, you know what I'm saying? Because Tony Harrison just got knocked out. Julian Wilson just got knocked out. Before that, Hurd got beat down. The titles are changing hands, man. So it's an interesting mix of fighters at that weight. And I think he fits in quite well there.
And Asim says Kell Brook is calling out guys at 47 when he has a lot of guys at 54 that he should worry about.
Yeah.
He needs to make a decision on what he wants to do because there is smoke, and not just smoke, fire on both divisions. I want to give a shout out to Blood on here.
Oh, geez.
Shout out, fam. Absolutely. Retro boxing and documentaries. Shout out to you, John, on here. What's going on, John? Lejuene. I can't pronounce that. Sorry. 92 AKU. Pero Angulo dropped Lara. What would Triple G do? I mean, I get what you're saying, but like Canelo didn't drop
Lara.
And look at what Canelo did to Angulo. So it doesn't quite work that way, does it, 92 AKU?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Angulo beat Kid Chocolate. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Gary Russell Jr., what you think about his performance, man?
I think they did their homework. Team Russell. They did the homework based on the opponent that they're facing. A lot of guys probably looked at the 11-0 record and thought, who is this guy getting a title shot? And but the guy he's a legit guy. He's of the new age fighter where these guys had decorated amateur careers and they're getting a good push once they turn pro, like Shakur Stevenson being champion before. He has 15 fights, Lomachenko, Rigondeaux, you know what I'm saying? And I guess whoever manages or promotes Nayambayar, if I said that right or wrong, I don't know. Excuse me. I guess they felt he was of that ilk, 140 amateur wins, 10 losses, silver medalist in the 2012 Olympics, undefeated as a pro, aggressive, heavy hands. And Team Russell thought that they would just box him on the move, not moving too much, just staying out of range. And every time Russell got cornered on the ropes, he would come forward in the clinch and pivot out the clinch. I thought that was a very clever way to escape being in a corner. A fighter shouldn't have his back up against the ropes. And he picked the shots well early in the fight. And around round 9, round 10, he elected to trade a little bit. And he started getting hit a whole lot more, and it made for a more entertaining fight. But I just thought he showed Nayambayar he can do more than one thing in the ring. Basically shut down everything the guy tried. But the guy, he didn't wilt in the ring. He kept trying. He was landing some shots here and there. I mean, it's a 12-round fight. It's hard to go 12 rounds and not get hit at all. And he tried the ones that he got through. He tried to make it count. It just so happens Gary Russell's not a broad. You know what I'm saying? He can take a pretty good punch. He just doesn't get hit often. And in this fight, he did what he had to do to score enough points to win the fight. Another successful title defense at that way. I think this is number 5, and he's already talking about going up skipping the junior lightweight division and going straight to lightweight where all the smoke is at. I don't know if that's a great idea. I've done videos in the past about fighters jumping a weight class to go to the second weight class, jumping 2 weight classes. It's more fighters that got their ass destroyed doing that than the guys who actually triumphed in trying to accomplish that feat. Fighters are not supernatural. They don't have superpowers. This ain't the fucking X-Men. They got divisions for a reason. He should go division by division, if you ask me. So,
yeah, division by division, and nothing wrong with testing the waters first before you do any of that, for sure. Right. People, I think sometimes whenever people talk about boxing history, they remember things differently.
Yeah.
And the ones that were usually more successful tested the waters first. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just the way it was. Like Mosley didn't, like, people talk about Mosley as if he literally went from lightweight and his next fight was De La Hoya. That's not quite how it happened.
Right. Exactly.
So he tested the waters first.
Wilfredo Rivera, Willie Wise. I forget who the other guy was. Yeah.
Yep.
Tested the waters, right.
Absolutely. That is Ashy's take, right? This is a Puncher's Chance with Ashy Knuckles, February 11th edition. Visit MandatoryDefense.com. Follow me on Twitter at TheStyleBoxing and Ashy at a Puncher's Chance. Ashy, Caleb Plant. All right, he did an interview with Fight Hub. I want to give Fight Hub their credit for this interview.
Yeah.
And I mean, he said a lot of things that sound like all the right things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they were asking him about all these other fighters and Canelo, and he said, you know what? I don't give a shit about Canelo. I don't give a shit about Benavidez. The only thing I give a shit about is my next opponent. I want to fight him. I want to win this fight, and then I'll think about other stuff. He said, of course I'll fight Canelo, but I'm not chasing Canelo, right? I think more fighters need to have this attitude. He said he's zoned in. He said he has no friends in boxing.
Yeah.
Especially in his division.
Right.
Right? He said, I'm not friends with any of these guys. Like period. He also talked about him being sharper than ever, feeling really good at the weight, pretty expected stuff. And he's going to be fighting in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, talk about putting the right fighter in the right town. This is where he's from.
Facts, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and people will resonate with him because he's from there.
Right.
Kind of like Pavlik did in Youngstown. You know what I mean? Only Nashville's a lot bigger.
So, right.
What are your thoughts on him having that mentality? Because I know you're familiar with Caleb Plant. So,
yeah.
And just him in general as a fighter. And I also want to know, why isn't this guy a bigger deal?
That's a damn good question. I think he got the right mind frame for a championship fighter. I mean, too many times you see these guys buddied up, the fighters buddied up to the point where now they can't even fight each other, You're not in the fight game to make friends. You're in the fight game to fight. You're in the fight game to become champion and possibly legendary and make some good money in the process if that's at all possible. So Caleb Plant got his mind right. You know what I'm saying? He went after the toughest guy, who was perceived the toughest guy at that weight, and won a world title. Not only showing the skills that he has in the ring, but against the upper echelon fighters in that weight class, against Uzcategui, who basically sent Andre Durrell packing. And now he has a title defense, second title defense coming up against Freisenberger, whatever the hell his damn name is, and he's
Yeah.
zoned in. You got people asking him about Canelo and all these other fights, and he's not allowing himself to look past what's going to happen on the weekend, and that's a guy that's going to be standing across the ring from him who wants to fucking whoop his ass. So he's zoned in. He's zoned in on this guy, and after he gets rid of him, then they can talk about the future. More fighters need to have that type of mind frame. But like you said, he's from Nashville. The fight is being hosted in Tennessee. Tennessee has not had big time boxing since Tyson versus Lennox Lewis, which was a big pay per view in its time. And this guy, he's a hometown kid. We already talked about the big amateur career or whatnot. He was a kickboxer and in amateur boxing. And he is the goods. That dude can fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? He got speed. He's slick. He got power. He got good timing. I mean, he's defensively responsible. He ain't a scary guy. You know what I'm saying? He won't smoke with anybody who steps to the table. And I think they have the right recipe to make a star out of this guy. And, I don't know why he isn't a star already, but he's still fairly young in his game. And the sky's the limit, man. All he got to do is just show up on this night. I'm sure that it's going to be a sellout crowd. If they market him right, man, he will be the next star in the sport of boxing. I think he knows it, and he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to perform. And we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. A lot is riding on this, and that's another thing he said. Like he said, because they were bringing it up, do you feel the pressure? And he says, you know what? A fight's a fight. I'm glad it's there, of course, but a fight's a fight. Like, whatever happens in that ring is going to happen. You know what I mean? Of course, those things are real, right? Like when the moment arrives and all that, like when you're in the ring, this just in sports in general, like when the moment comes, you'll know. But right now, why even worry about that? Right now, he's just going to prepare the way he's been preparing. Did you expect him to whoop Lee the way he did?
Yes.
like that easily? Because dude, he made that dude look like he didn't even belong in boxing.
That easily. I did a video on it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, the guy does not belong in the ring with him, and it's gonna show, and it did.
You got the receipts. That's right. Yeah. You got the videos. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So he's not with Top Rank. He was with Top Rank early. What's his name? Mike Lee. He was with Top Rank. Top Rank was marketing him because he was a former football player turned boxer, but he was fighting a bum on a month club, and basically he was progressing as a fighter, but more than anything, he was just a great athlete. And just because you're a great athlete, don't mean you're going to be a great fighter. And he had a padded record. He thought he belonged in the ring. He thought he did enough to secure the title shot. And I'm sure he thought he was going to win, but, it wasn't in the cards for him because Caleb Plant just showed him. He told him before the fight, you don't belong in the ring with me. There's levels. I'll never let myself lose to a guy like this. You know what I'm saying? He has a career he can go to. He has an Ivy League degree. All Caleb Plant say, all I got is boxing. I'm fucking him up. Excuse my language. I'm beating his ass. And that's what he did.
Actually, I remember you posted a picture on. I started cracking up when he's pointing at Mike Lee, like give him a damn sandwich.
Yeah, man.
I like that. The best part was Mike Lee was like, what? He was licking his glove. I don't know what. I guess like, oh, no, I'm gonna get you. Like he just. 1, 2, it went down again. Like, sit your ass down.
That was
like a lollipop. Get the fuck out of here.
He should be thanking Al Heyman for that one. That was an easy check, man. Easy night work.
Yeah, definitely. It was on Fox. I personally, I wish they would have put it on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think more people would have noticed him. But
Right.
Caleb Plant, man, I think this is a smart move. I'm interested to see. I have not done any research. If anybody knows how the ticket sales are doing,
Yeah.
but let me tell you, man, this is that dude. I'm like, all bullshit aside, he's got the skills, bro.
Yeah, he can fight.
Okay?
Man.
This
He
dude
can
can fight. He can box. Okay. And in my opinion, the only dude that I'm kind of like, I don't know, like I'm kind of on the fence who would win, right? Is Benavides. You know what I mean? I don't know who would win that fight yet. I just don't. But that tells you a lot. And maybe Canelo. That's about it. You know what I mean? So and Canelo's like, we just don't know what's going on with Canelo. But Caleb Plant is zoned in. He has the right mentality. He's had the right. I mean, the dude has been built as a boxer his whole life, and that's what he's doing. You could tell. He's zoned in. He's saying all the right things, and he's doing all the right things in the ring. He's going to be fighting Vincent Feigenbutz. All right, I don't know how to pronounce that. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that right. And shout out to Maxzilla. We got Nasina Dream out there. What's going on, guys? And shout out to Teresa D and Chief Funk for that super chat. It says, jab that like button, people. Absolutely. Let's get to 30 likes ASAP. All right. Vincent is 31-2. Both his losses are by knockout. He was knocked out back in 2016 and back in 2012. Okay. That tells me he's due a knockout. But 31 of his victories, 28, I'm sorry, of his victories are by knockout, and he has 31 wins. So all but 3 of his wins are by knockout.
Yeah.
This is an explosive dude. He's out of Germany. He's 5'10", a little undersized for the division, right? I could not find. I tried to research his reach. I couldn't find it. But Caleb Plant is 6'1", 19-0, 11 KOs. From what I've seen from Vincent Feigenbutz, okay, because I heard dudes tell me that Vincent is that dude, Ash. Okay,
Yeah.
like, oh, he's that dude. Oh man, he's good. You know what I mean?
Well, he definitely seems like he can punch. You know, we got a record that indicates when he put them paws on guys, they react. That's all we can tell. I mean, you know, records like that are deceiving. I don't know if you remember Ocelino Freitas. He had a record like that too, but once he got in there with the upper echelon at lightweight, you know, he wilted. So he quit against Juan Diaz and Chico. So
Chico's well, okay.
Yeah.
I remember the Juan Diaz one. Like he was taking a beating in the fight. But this guy eats jabs like Andy Ruiz eats tacos, bro. Okay, I watch
long night.
Right, like this dude will eat a jab like it's like no nothing. Okay, I don't know, man. Like I get it. He has an 84% kill ratio. He does have power. He is explosive. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
like that is not deceiving. The dude is explosive. My problem is with his second punch, the dude is squared up, throwing hooks like crazy. You know what I mean? That's why he gets popped with jabs on the inside. That is like, this guy's just fighting, you know, he's just kind of programmed to just come forward pretty much, you know, throw his hooks, you know, a little 1-2 here and there. Pretty basic, a little too basic for Caleb Plant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Caleb Plant is going to plant punches all over this dude.
Facts.
Right? Caleb Plant has a thing that I like to call, not that I invented or anything, but that I refer to punch placement, right?
Yeah.
When this guy, like, he doesn't, like, when Caleb Plant throws a jab, right? What he does with his hand depends on what happens when he throws a jab, right? If he lands a jab, then he'll come with it. If it doesn't land, he can back away. Okay, if you duck, he'll throw an uppercut. Whatever happens with his opponent dictates what he's going to do next. Okay, he has that situational intelligence in the ring. Caleb Plant is not a pattern fighter. He reads your opponent. Now, I don't think he's as good, but he reminds me a lot like a Terrence Crawford in that sense, right? And I just think he's going to pick this dude apart. He's going to pick him apart, and in between the punches. And fighters that could do that are extremely, they're just devastating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how he got Lee. You know what I mean? It's between the punches is where Lee was getting caught. Lee thought he saw an opening, bam, then he was getting hit. So that's why he was getting dropped. Like the punches from Plant didn't look like these huge, devastating shots, right? It's just how he was placing those shots and dropping them. I see a mid to late round stoppage in this fight. After this fight, Ashy, what would you like to see for Caleb Plant in the division?
Shit, let's unify. Might as well go after Benavidez or any of the other champions, maybe one more title defense, if not. But because sometimes they feel like they need to build the big fights in order to maximize on their purses and stuff like that. I really don't care what the fighters make, but they apparently do. I mean, like I said, they're in the sport to make money.
Right.
And I understand. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen that. So if they go that route too, and he fights another top guy who doesn't have a title before he fights a unification, I'm cool with that too. There's no powder puffs, no more Mike Lees.
I mean, let me ask you this, right? Because people are always worried about what the fighters make. You think the fighters actually ask themselves, like, man, the people buying these pay-per-views, I mean, how much money do they make? Can they afford to buy it? I don't know. Do they have bills to pay?
Right.
You think they ask those questions?
No, man.
Nah. Like, they ain't worried about what you got in your pocket. Don't worry about what they got in their pocket. You know what I mean? And I mean it both ways. If they get their bread, let them. You know what I mean? Like, don't hate if they get paid. You know what I mean?
No,
but
not at all, man. Too many fighters. It's more tragedies than triumphs in this sport.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, guys who left this sport not just physically impaired, from injuries in the ring. You see even Freddie Roach has Parkinson's. You see a lot of these other fighters stuttering, can't speak. But add that onto the fact that most of them leave this sport broke. You know what I'm saying? Not even a fucking dime to their name. But in this particular age of boxing, fighters are seeing unprecedented amounts of money. And I'm not going to hate on that because I'd rather them getting it as opposed to them not having it or being robbed for all of it like David Tua was. So it is what it is, man. I'm glad they're getting their bread.
Absolutely. And Andrew Charles, I appreciate the support. Right. This is the February 11th edition of A Puncher's Chance with Ashy Knuckles. Visit MandatoryDefense.com. Follow me on Twitter at DStyleBoxing and Ashy at A Puncher's Chance. Let's move to this topic here, Ashy. It looks like Devin Haney or his promoter Eddie Hearn or both or what have you, interested in an Adrien Broner fight, right? So Adrien Broner is saying he wants $20 million.
Right.
What are your overall thoughts regarding this whole situation?
Well, him wanting $20 million, like I said, I don't care about how much money they get paid. I'm not going to be one of these guys that say, well, he doesn't deserve. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? The fight would be on the zone. The zone got deep pockets. Adrien Broner is, a closed mouth don't get fed. He's speaking on it, and if it comes to fruition, everybody going to say he's a genius. But in terms of the fight, this is going to hurt some feelings because I know Adrien Broner is still a very popular fighter, but he is done as a top fighter in this game. Done. He has not had a legit victory since 2016 when he beat Ashley Theophane. Fights against Mikey Garcia, Jesse Vargas, those were winnable fights. And in those particular fights, for the duration of the fight, he chose to fight with his hands in his pocket. At least in the Jesse Vargas fight, late in the fight, he let his hands go, and then he goes to Jesse Vargas in the post fight interview saying, "I beat your ass, I beat your ass." But you probably did well in the championship rounds, but there are 12 rounds in the fight. And the same thing against Manny Pacquiao, man. I mean, you going in the ring, you looking at the motherfucker for 12 rounds, and then you swearing you got fucking robbed, And it's not because he can't fight. It's not because he doesn't have the ability. Adrien Broner does not conduct himself as a professional outside the ring. I knew it back in the game when he was always on those Ace of Spade bottles. Now I'm coming to the conclusion that Adrien Broner is just a damn wino. He's just drunk all the damn time. You can see it in the videos when he's being interviewed by Seconds Out or these other boxing outfits out there.
Is that what the glasses are all about? Like indoors and everything?
I don't know. They could just be swag. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But he is inebriated in these videos. And the throwback fighters did not drink. They didn't have vices like that. Reason being because they were fighting every other week. You know what I'm saying? They had to be in tip-top shape. 8-week camps were unheard of because they were fighting at such a high frequency. They had to stay in shape. Have gloves will travel. You know what I'm saying? And in this day and age, these guys they're not conducting themselves like a professional when out of the ring. They're being like civilians. They're in the strip clubs, which ain't no problem with being in strip clubs and letting it rain. But when you start drinking, all of a sudden it becomes a vice, and then it becomes an impairment. You're impairing your ability to perform on fight night. The weapon that you have to use in the ring is not something tangible. It's not a bat. It's not a gun. It's your body. You know what I'm saying? And if you're putting those impurities in your body, you ain't gonna be able to perform at your very best when you need to. And that's what we've been seeing with Adrien Broner. He's in there. He's throwing one punch at a time. If that is so much parts of the fight, he's not throwing any shots, and his opponents are just scoring points on the cards. And I'm saying if he continues upon this path, which I think he will, I don't have faith in him saying all of a sudden y'all sleep on me, y'all turned y'all back on me. No, we're just calling a spade, man. He was the one that says fighters do what they can, I do what I want. Well, that's not translating into victories. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect it to do that if he fights Devin Haney, who's younger, who's about a fight or two away from leaving lightweight. So if they were to fight at a catch weight, like around 138 or 140 pounds, it would more than likely favor the youngster, you know what I'm saying, who's shown that he's disciplined and that he wants to be the next great star. I think in that fight, he'll beat the brakes off of Adrien Broner. And that's no disrespect to any guy out there that I affiliate with. Like I said, I know Adrien Broner got a lot of fans out there, and it's a sport. It's a sport of boxing. But I read this book before. You know what I'm saying? I know the ending. I've seen it already. You know what I'm saying? And these fans may not see it, the writing on the wall, but you know who does see it? Fighters. Fighters know the right timing to go after these named fighters. And right now, they're looking at Adrien Broner like he food, man. That's why they're going after him. Regis is going after him. Devin Haney is going at him. A lot of guys are going at him because he let the outside ring of the ring stuff affect what goes on in the ring. And that's not going to cut it at the top of the sport of boxing. And that's just my take on it, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Here's what I'll say. One, I agree 100%. Devin Haney versus Broner, to me, is not a competitive fight in 2020. Okay? Like, it just isn't.
Right.
However, sometimes it just costs money if you want that name. You know what I mean? And if Adrien Broner's food, well, guess what? If you want the name on your resume and he's asking for $20 million, I'm not saying you should pay him the $20 million, but just in general, you should pay him a good amount of money if you do if you're the one asking to fight him.
Right.
So and I'll be honest, I do believe Adrian Broner will add subscriptions to the zone. I do believe more people will come out knowing who Devin Haney is after this fight. I think, I mean, Adrian Broner is a draw. Whether people like it or not, when
Yep.
Adrian Broner fights, people pay attention. People watch. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what fighters are. That has a lot to do with what fighters get paid, whether we like
Right.
it or not. So I don't know if it's 20 million actually, but they should pay him. You know what I mean? If they're the ones that want this name in the resume, they gotta pay Devin Haney. I'm sorry, Devin Haney as well, but they gotta
Pay Broner.
Adrian Broner. Pay AB.
They definitely got the deep pocket for it. You know what I'm saying? And they pay Triple, like you said early on. They paid Triple G $15 million. He don't have like a big fan base. I mean, he has a pretty good crowd that show up in the little theater in Madison Square Garden. But Adrian Broner, he sells out in Cincinnati. He does good at the Barclays. You know what I'm saying? And he's must see TV. His viewership is always high whenever he's on TV fighting. So maybe he can get 15, maybe he can get 10, 12. Who knows? Pay the man.
I mean, I'll be honest. The first time I heard what Adrian Broner was asking for, I said, "Is he crazy?" You know what I mean? Like, they ain't gonna pay you that. But then when you think about it, like they're paying, like you said, Triple G, all that crazy amount of money, but nothing to show for it. I mean, outside of the Canelo fights, Triple G never did good pay-per-view numbers.
Right.
Okay, Triple G, I mean, he did okay numbers on HBO and stuff, but nothing crazy. You know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, I think Broner did better numbers than Triple G on
HBO without a doubt. Yeah. If HBO would have stayed in the game of boxing and didn't hire, who was it, Ross Greenberg, who used to run Showtime at that time? Because once they hired him, they lost all their talent. All their talent went to Showtime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But had they stay up on that path and kept, I'm sorry, not Ross Greenberg. They hired Ken Hirschman.
Yes,
Ken Hirschman.
Right. The guy that ran the Super 6.
Yeah, if they would have kept the guy that they had at HBO, instead of hiring Ken Hirschman, all the talent that was fighting on HBO would have stayed, and Broner possibly could have been the next big star, which he was telling everybody he was going to be. But it didn't work out in his favor, man.
That did not work out in his favor. Like, again, do I think 20 is high? Well, yes, but it's kind of like when you go to a car dealership. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the dealership's here. You don't start negotiating here. You start over here. So that way you meet somewhere. Broner wants to get paid, and if sometimes the sacrificial lamb wants to get paid. You know what I mean? So that's it. Pay him. If you want him, pay him. Right? And I think I heard Cal Enigma say on one of his live streams, when they first started the zone, they wanted Adrien Broner.
Right.
That was one of the first guys that they wanted for the zone. Well, why do you think that is? Because he was a name.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they could bring.
I heard of that. I remember when Rock Nation tried to make a move to get Adrien Broner with JB. They offered him like $40 million for like, what was it, 5 or 8 fights or something like that, 5 fights. And for some reason, Adrien Broner turned that down. And I don't know how smart that was, but they went after him for a reason, man. Adrien Broner is must-see TV in the sport of boxing. For whatever reason, people are attracted to his Bronerisms.
Absolutely. And No Paul says if they pay Adrien Broner 20 for Haney, imagine how much they got to shell out for other PBC fighters. I mean, other PBC fighters don't draw like Broner, though. You know what I mean? Like it's not everything is equal. Like to your point, No Paul. Well, maybe that's why you don't pay Triple G $15 million a fight roles. You know what I mean? It's that they're overpaying some fighters, or you could argue they say it's investment. Well, if you want to invest in Haney and your app and you want a name, this is one way to do it. Just saying.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not saying 20 is the answer. What I'm saying is,
Drop that guard.
make him an offer he can't refuse. You know what I mean? That's all I'll say about that one. Okay.
He's ripe for the taking, man. He hadn't fought in over a year. Had one fight last year, one fight in 2018, and hadn't had a decent victory since 2016. And he's always under the influence. I mean, if anybody is ripe for the taking, man, it's Adrien Broner, man. Y'all got to see the writings on the wall, man. It ain't hate; it's just facts. Like I said, I've read this book before. This is not the first time we've seen stuff like this in the sport of boxing.
What edition is this? Like edition, like 9th edition?
Yeah,
900th edition.
there it is.
That's
you
what it is.
The sport, man. If you want longevity, you got to respect the sport. So these guys, man, they want to be Mayweather so bad. You know what I'm saying? They want to be Mayweather so bad. And Mayweather brought all that money into the sport of boxing. So these boys they're getting their money, but they are patterning the wrong parts of Mayweather's career. They're patterning themselves after the wrong parts. No, I'm not gonna say the wrong parts. They trying to be Money Mayweather before being Pretty Boy Floyd first.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
And Pretty Boy Floyd was not doing the shit they doing. He wasn't on no alcohol. He may have been in the strip clubs, but he was not defiling himself. Mm-hmm. He comes from that rare old school tutelage, and he may be one of the last, of that ilk, man.
Last of the Mohicans, bro.
Yeah, man. If you keep damaging your body with that stuff, because like I said, let Ashy Knuckles do that. Let me do the drinking. I don't fight. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Let the spectators drink. The spectators drink. The fighters fight.
Fighters fight, man. Take care of your body, man.
Let us buy the drinks. You guys fight. Okay? Like that's just the way it is. That's how it works. Plus, when we buy drinks at the fight, that revenue goes to you. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it is. But man, this was a great show, Ashley. I'm glad to have you back. A puncher's chance. All right. This is the lineup. Monday's Aftermath. Tuesdays, a puncher's chance with Ashy Knuckles. Wednesday, Hispanics causing panic. Tomorrow with G-Funk. Check that out. Thursday, boxing conversations with Reggie Owens. This was a puncher's chance with Ashy Knuckles. I got to say, man, it's great to have you back. Shout out to Callie who filled in last week. Right? We had a great show and everything. You guys subscribe to Callie Enigma, by the way. Yeah. What final thoughts do you have, Ashley?
Oh man, just trying to be optimistic about the year 2020. Like I said, it started off pretty messed up with Kobe Bryant passing and his daughter, and of course the other passengers on the airplane. I didn't expect 2020 to. Now, of course, that don't have anything to do with boxing. I'm just talking about as far as the year, starting off the year on a bad note. But hopefully, in terms of the sport of boxing, it would be a great year. We've already had an upset with Rosario defeating Julian Williams. That wasn't foreseen prior to the fight, so that's a good thing. Not a good thing for Julian Williams, but it caught everybody by surprise. But hopefully we get nothing but big fights this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Great show. Nasina Dream, last comment here, was doing AB was doing better numbers than Triple D. For some reason, he was still put butts in seats.
Yep.
So what to do, Eddie? What does Eddie have to lose? You have to face it. People come out to see the guy, and at the end of the day, that's just the way it is. Like, you know what I mean? And I remember I saw once Hopkins said it once, right? Like sometimes the sport will find a way to retire you if you don't retire. Like,
You're right.
So like if it's gonna take Devin Haney to retire Adrien Broner, then hey, at least let him get paid, on his way out. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying, yeah.
So let him get paid. Great stuff. Jojo Diaz last week, great performance.
Yep.
A lot going on, man. Visit MandatoryDefense.com. Right? This is D-Style Boxing. And for Ashy Knuckles, we say
keep it boxing.
Keep it boxing. We're out.
Peace.